Hey everyone, this is Max. I am doing a live stream of the CSR2 Legends, partly because I originally thought about making a second video to follow up on some of the questions people were asking, but I thought it might be easier to simply do a live stream. I am kind of new at this. It's been a while since I used the live stream, so I'm still trying to get the hang of it. So bear with me while I get everything set up properly. All right, so what we have here is we have the legend. All right, CSR2 legend. So what we have here is we have the legend. All right, CSR2 legend. So what we have here is we have the legend. All right, CSR2 legend. So what? All right, now. Um, so the Legends thing that was introduced with this new 2.0 update comes with the first one called the Restoration Rush. And what the Restoration Rush is essentially a series of races that let you basically get your car restored. And to do that, you basically build the Ferrari 250 GTO. You run through these events. They give you points based on what you're doing, and the points are, in fact, about 1,000 point here and there. Almost every 3, 4 races, you get 1,000 points, and that allows you to build up your car. The restoration process itself, it's kind of separate from the upgrade process. So even though you're quote restoring the car, you're still upgrading the car. And the upgrades are needed to make it through the event itself. So what you're doing is essentially you're still building a car just like any car you get in the game. You still have to race it and you still have to win. And based on that is how you can get your process through. The restoration is like a side piece that you have to do at the same time because until the car is fully restored, you cannot actually tune it. So it's purely an upgrade and fusion situation until you get the car fully restored. So that kind of brings you to a dilemma. Are you going to be doing this? Hey there. So are you going to be doing the restoration same time, or do you want to build your car first? What I did is I built the car first because this is a tier 2. That's pretty easy to build. Um, so I built the car first. I put it up to stage 5 because obviously you have no stage 6 parts. I put fusions in it since it's a Ferrari. That's relatively easy as well. But if you look at the restoration, that's a completely separate process that's ongoing, right? You have a restoration currency that you use for this. And as you click on each thing, it tells you how much it costs to do. There's also a time involved with it. The good news is if you have enough of this currency, you could do both at the same time. They just consecutively run the time. But the bad news is until this car is 100% restored, you can't tune it. There's no tuning. There's no other changes you can do to it. You can't change the color or anything. Yeah, the update is actually an APK that you can obtain online, although I don't know it would be from a trusted source. I certainly wouldn't do that unless you are, you know somebody that has used that source and it's reliable. Hey there, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. So as you run the Legend Cup, the point of this cup is that it gives you points, right? The points you use to restore. But how far can I get in this cup? I don't know. I'm kind of going through this and learning about it even as I am playing this, same as many people that have gotten the CSR Legends update early. Hey there, welcome. So what happens is you can tell that she's making comments, and as part of this first storyline, you're going to probably get an idea what this whole restoration thing is going to be about. Oh, that if you heard that the update is going to be out by Wednesday, that's great. A lot of people are going to be jumping into this. So no, I just started, Drake. I don't know how to schedule it yet. I'm still working on learning about live streams. So I just clicked and activated it. Hey Tony, how are you? Hey IP. Okay, so what's happening is as I'm playing this, it's telling me more about CSR. Yeah, it's exactly AZ. It's like CSR classics mixed into CSR2. It's almost like its own little side game that we now have access to. So it's a little bit different. Yes, well, when will it be available for iOS? That I don't know, Richard. That's a good question. I suspect iOS probably want less bugs before they'll allow it to be updated, and that's probably why it's going to be a little bit later. But I think a worldwide release is coming soon. Um, I don't see a time limit on this, King Rex. I don't think there is a time limit. This is almost like Tempest. You have things you have to do. If anything, I think they want you to do this slowly because this upgrading taking time, the number of cars you have to upgrade, all these things tells me this is supposed to be a long-term project. This is not something you're supposed to get done in a week. Unless, of course, you want to spend a ton of money and rush it. But I'm not going to do that. First of all, you have 14 cars, 14 of these cars to restore. Talking to guys that are further along than I am with this, I know that not only do you have 14 cars to restore, you have different events that you'll have to run with these 14 cars. Not all of them at once, but again, it's going to be a event that runs with, some challenges where you're going to select 3 cars, lock it in, and you have to beat the times. So car selection is going to be critical to this. Yes, you could rebuild the Pontiac. Yes, you could rebuild the Bugatti or the Celine, but how many fusions do you have for those cars? You probably want to focus on cars that you can get fusions for, um, such as the ones that you can easily get, Aston Martin, Lamborghini, Ford. If you have a bunch of Porsche fusions or some sitting around, that's also something to look at. Um, Well, that's a good question. Here's my concern about these cars. None of them come with stars. Even though you're restoring 14 cars, if you notice, these cars are coming without stars. Any car without stars, as you know from playing the game, has less overall fusion. I'm doing good, John. How are you? Uh, so because there are less fusions, they're probably less overall potentially um, fast cars. I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to be slow, but you always know that extra stars means extra RP when you use the car. And there is a legendary bonus which I don't see activated yet. So maybe that'll offset the star bonus that you're not getting because you're not going to get the rare car bonus, but you will get a legendary bonus. So we'll see when we finally restore full car what that looks like. But which car do I really want? I want that purple star car sitting on the ramp right there. I want that guy. This one. So the whole process of going through all this, hey Maynard, how are you? So the whole process here is to try to get to that car. Now, the restoration again takes time, right? You have a balance, you got to take time to do it. I'm only at 37%, and each of these can cost you 2,000 or more. You can activate it, but then you have to pay gold if you want to rush it. Let's say we don't rush it. The good thing too is though, it does allow you to do multiple ones as long as you have the currency available. So you can kind of click on this and keep the progress going, except the actual restoration will take more time. You just wait it out. In the meantime, you can run and keep um, getting the car done as far as the events are concerned. As far as when the update's coming out, there are rumors flying around. Somebody earlier mentioned, let me see, somebody mentioned it might come out next Wednesday. Um, Listen, none of us know when they're going to drop the update until they drop it. So it could be next Wednesday. If they find that the people that are testing it now are the data going back to natural motion, there's a bunch of bugs or problems, they may delay it. I think it's good that they kind of beta tested. How's my rally fighter coming along? It's not. It's got zero fusions on it, and it's at stage 5. So I'm still waiting for more parts. And like everyone else, I'm gonna run the supply cup and hope that it gives me useful fusions. At this point, since I have almost none, every fusion's useful. So I'm not looking forward to that PC cup. I'll tell you that. So right now, there's no tuning, right? So this car, I'm just driving it based on the upgrades. The good news is, if you can see, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of challenge here so far with these races. The opponents are running very slow. You're running pretty quick. So looks like things are good. Yeah, Letty's fighter, they don't let you use it because they don't want you to have an advantage over other players, I would assume. But obviously, you paid money for that. You should have had a right to use that. Hey there, Hobby Monster. How are you? If I miss anybody, I'm trying to look at the game and read at the same time. So sometimes I'll miss a comment. Don't feel bad about that. You can always retype it, and I will definitely catch up with any comments. Well, Richard, I'm hoping that they will make the PC Cup easier. My experience has been when it's a brand new car with a lack of fusion, Natural Motion knows that too. Not to say they're going to make it easy, but they'll make it easier than last season because last season was pretty tough. I know a lot of my crew members ended up burning up most of their bronze keys trying to keep up with that last season's PC Cup. As of right now, we have not seen any information about new PC cars in the update. Um, Usually on Facebook, somebody will hack into the metadata and tell you right away that um, there will be a certain amount of new cars coming, when they're coming. The only thing I can tell you right now is that we know the Finner Gold Cup is coming along with the GTI next season. That information is available, but I don't see any other information that would tell me any new PC cars. Now, there's a hope that because they're releasing such a big update, they didn't have time to put new PC cars in, and that means we get old cars for PC cars. That might be a good thing. Certainly, I have some old cars that are built up, and if they use it again, an old milestone car, it may make PC easier for me at least. Hey James, how are you? Welcome to the stream. If I could have one car added, what would it be? That's a good question. I'll be honest with you. I don't have any particular car in mind, to be honest. This whole legend thing, they're introducing some nice cars. They already added the one car I always wanted, which is the older NSX. That's one of my favorite cars in real life, and certainly I'm very happy they added it. I'm a little disappointed it's a no star, but you know, I like it regardless. Demon Hob or Demon Charger? Um, well, I'm not sure because I don't have Hobbs Demon. I only have the Charger 1970 Charger from the Fast and Furious event, so I'm not sure which one's better. Yeah, that's the situation with those Tempest. If you're not quite ready yet, don't run it. Just wait. I always wait. I just wait till my car's fast enough, then I just go in and get the car from the bosses. There's no point to race them and lose when you already waited that long to get to where you are. Huh. That's interesting information. So the Hobbs is going to be a little bit faster than the Demon from this season. 200s. Well, you can miss and do 210 slower, so I don't think that makes all that much of a difference. Maybe in the hands of those guys that are making world records, it does make a difference, but in my hands, it'll make absolutely zero difference. Chances are I'll have to tune it somehow to beat Dino anyway, just to give myself the margin of error from bad driving. So I'm not too worried about 200th or even a tenth with the car. I'm generally not in the top lobbies trading. I just want a car to be tunable for dyno beating so I can win in live when I need to. 7073 Camaro. Aren't we getting that? Oh, that's not a 7073. That's a 60s. Yeah, 7073 Camaro would be interesting. I wonder if they would put something in like that. Yeah, this is almost like bring CSR classics back and mixing it in with CSR2. In fact, the way it's structured, it almost is like a second game, which is not a bad thing. I think it's a pretty cool addition to CSR2. In addition to our daily grind of the same things over and over, we have something else on the side we can play with now. Yeah, that 0 to 60 at the end, you really need almost a maxed in SX AZ to pull that off. It's just, you know, it's not it's not that easy, but it's doable. You just need a car close to max. The POP 50. Hey, I got the POP 50 on the Forza and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a hilarious little car. So totally uncontrollable, but funny car to drive. See, my feeling is to your question on dying, my feeling is there's probably not going to be enough points to get you to 100%. This is why they have this little legend trial thing that pops up. This is a daily trial that's going to come up for you to get additional points. Why would they even offer that if you can get enough from the event? They wouldn't. So this is where you're going to have to grind probably day in and day out to hope for the right car's points. Right now, because I only have the 250 GTO, it's going always to that. But if I finish building the GTO, they may very well give you random out of the 14 cars. Today it's this one, tomorrow's that one, and you have to slowly save up those points. So that'll be something. But this is almost a telltale sign to me that they're not going to give you enough points in this restoration rush to complete the car. You probably get to like 70% off of these points, and then you're going to need to grind that to get the rest of the points. There's also additional content coming. I have another thing I'm going to show you after this race on the map that says it's going to be released in about 2 days' time that will be available for me to race. I suspect that'll go back to the other cars that are in the restoration. So, Richard, your question is, will the Legends be something like Tempest? I believe so. I think there's no time limit here. If anything, they structured this to make it slower. They're trying to slow you down. Because one of the things that always happens with this game is whenever they release something, somebody will finish it in the first day, post it on Facebook, and then everybody else goes, "Oh wow, that's it." So this whole restoration thing, where it takes 40 minutes to restore each stage, and there's like 7, 8 different things to restore, I think the whole intent here is to make it slower for you. The unique currency is intended to slow you down as well. You can't just use money you earn in the game to restore the car. You have a unique currency you have to use. That is going to be earned slowly. So I think it's going to be like Tempest. I think it's going to let you play as long as you want, and there's no rush to get it through. So I wouldn't worry about it. POE 50 goes 5.9 and a half mile. Well, that would be interesting to see, to say the least. Um, they'll never do that, but that's an interesting proposal. Maybe we should send the Natural Motion an email saying, "Hey, man, put the POP 50 in and make sure it beats the GTX." 400 miles an hour. You mean that? That right there looks like a 4 in the logo. I'm not sure that's a 4 or an arrow. I don't actually see it as a 4 myself. Oh, I hope it's not the new currency for the whole game. So far it's not, because you still have to spend regular money to upgrade the car. Even though you're using the restoration stars to restore the car. See, here's the new thing. There's a limited number of car spaces free in the studio. Win this and I'll tell you how to work on multiple cars at once. Still got to restore this car first before you get to that, but at least it's slowly teaching you the next piece in this puzzle as far as what this legend thing is all about. So she's probably going to give you a few slots, and that also means that you're going to be limited to restoring a certain number of cars at a time until you fully restore one, you move it out into your main garage, then you can put it back in here, another car. So this again limits you from progression. It won't let you buy all 14 cars with regular money right away and then start restoring them all quickly. So you may have only 3 or 4 cars you could do at a time. Again, not surprising. This, if you think about it, 14 cars, restoration, still doing the milestone stuff daily. This will keep a lot of people pretty busy for quite a long time. And if you're not going to spend money to or go to rush things, I would say this is going to be a few month process, not a few days process. Um, I heard from people that did rush through this that it cost, quote, a ton of gold to do it. I don't know what your estimation of a ton of gold is, but in my view, based on experience and looking at the fact that some of these are tier fives, uh, a ton of gold is probably over 30,000 to 50,000 gold somebody burned to try to move this event forward quickly. There are 30 races in just this 250 GTO part, and you should be able to make it through it all using just stage 5 upgrades since I can't tune. So it's a matter of having the fusions and the upgrades. I'm not sure when we're going to get stage 6s or where, because right now that has not come up yet. It wasn't in the list of rewards for this restoration rush. I think you have to fully restore the car before you have a chance to get any stage 6s. Okay, so she's going to show you how to restore multiple cars at once. As you can see, you have your regular garage and then you have your studio garage. The studio garage is limited to a certain number of cars that you can put in at the same time to restore. So that means we only have 3 we can restore at a given time, but there are 14 cars. That means you have to finish 3, get 3 more in there, finish 3, get 3 more in there, or kind of rolling process of finish one, put new one in. So again, you're gonna have to be very selective which cars you pick out of the 14, because if you get stuck because you can't get through some part of this restoration event because you picked the wrong car, you don't have fusions, you're gonna be probably stuck for quite a long time, depending on how hard those fusions to get eventually. So again, I'm gonna avoid certain cars in the beginning, the ones that are tough to get parts for, such as the Saline S7. As much as I would like to have that car, I'm probably not going to pick it first. I'm going to stick with the ones that I know I can get fusions for, like Ferrari, Lamborghini, Ford, Aston Martin. I do have some Honda Fusions, but not a whole lot. So even as much as I love the NSX, I have to calculate whether I'm going to go ahead and pick that car over a different tier 4 when I get there. So planning and thinking about how you're going to get through this is going to be a key part. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get stuck in this event come full release, and we're going to have a lot of questions on Facebook and on my channel asking, how do I get through with this? How do I get through with that? So take your time, don't rush, and definitely keep in mind that you do have to upgrade these cars to win this event. And fusions again comes into play. That never changes. That's always the frustration with this game. Can't get the fusions, can't do anything with it. Hey, I'm Killing. When is the update getting released? That's the big question of the day. I don't know. Um, I suspect before end of the season, and worst case, if they have bugs that they have to fix, maybe beginning or middle of next season, because they run out of options pretty much after the next season. We have one more PC car in the system with the last update, and no matter what happens, they have to kind of think about updating everybody when they get past that. Now, they have not introduced any new PC cars. I mentioned earlier, new PC cars in the data that I'm aware of. So they may be reusing milestone cars for at least 1 or 2 of the coming PC Cups after the Rocket Bunny GTI. So we'll see. But I would say release will have to happen sometime between end of this season and next season. Hey, no problem. No problem. Welcome to the live stream. Um, not everybody has to greet everybody, right? I haven't greeted everybody in here either. I just read the question and try to answer them as quickly as possible. So we're on race 17. As you can see, there are 30 races, and I, an estimate is you get about 12,000 points of this currency by the time you get to the end. I've already spent easily 8,000 to upgrade 4 items. So 12,000 doesn't get you very far. If there's more than another 3 or 4 upgrades to restore, you're going to be stuck without points. And I think I'm going to be stuck when I get to race 30 and I see where I am with the restoration. That's where it's going to be the long grind. I'm going to go do that other cup, that daily cup, to get more points, and then hopefully get the car fully restored that way. I noticed some about all these new cars. They're all tire spinners. That Letty's Rally Fighter just spins through the whole first, second gear. It's very obnoxious. I don't know. I just don't like that. Correct. The final answer to when the update is coming is that it's still unknown. We're hoping that experience tells us that because the beta test is sort of released to limited number of people already, you may be able to get it soon, because usually once they release it to some people around the world, within a season or two we get the actual update. But of course Apple has to approve it. you know Google Play games are obviously much easier to approve this kind of stuff, but Apple tend to be a little more difficult. Did it cost per fusion? Yes, to add the fusions does cost money. In fact, building the car costs the same as building a car in the game. That's 14 cars you're going to have to build with this kind of money right here. And you're going to be spending some of those on tier 5 cars. Those are 6 million a pop, plus fusions. So you're going to have to add fusions, and that costs money too. So from a resource standpoint, this is going to be a very costly process. And as always, if you're in a milestone crew, you have to consider how much of this do you want to burn up in a season. I always want to save because I want to make sure I could build my PC car without stress and able to get through everything else at the same time. Hey Ramon, what's going on? Wait, wait for. Oh, you're saying that you just have to wait? Hey, how are you, Groot? Fully maxed car without restoring it. Ultimate sleeper, ultimate untuned car too. They don't let you tune the car until you get it fully built and restored. So I suspect without tuning, these cars are not going to be super competitive in live. Although, in a way, I kind of like the idea that I can leave it a rust bucket, get it fully tuned, and use it in live. It would be kind of funny to take people out with like a car that's just came out of a barn find. But that's not the intent here, I think. Correct, Dwayne. You can only tune the car after it's fully restored. In fact, Jesse will pop in probably to tell us that. Because as of this point, I have not been able to tune this car. There's nothing available for you to tune the car, right? Because it's not in your main garage, and you can look at the restoration garage. There's no tuning option in there. I also noticed they kick you back into the garage after each race. That is more or less to make it slower. So everything designed around this event tells me it's meant to burn time. There's no immediate go to next race. Everything's slow, kicks you back to garage. So just kind of have to deal with it. Notice no tuning. And the only thing you can do is upgrade and fusion it. We'll see. I suspect tuning comes after you fully restore it, because at some point you have to be able to tune the car. All right, so we're almost up to race 20. I'm going to finish all 30 races and in the live stream probably by that point. But I just wanted to kind of talk to everyone about what I'm seeing as I'm going, rather than making a separate video to showcase it. The Rocket Bunny GTI probably have different. That's a PC car. That's going to have different liveries, I'm sure. So this car is, I haven't tried third gear nitrous. I don't think it'll be any faster. I haven't tried first gear nitrous either. I'm just driving it with second gear nitrous because, well, it works so far. No, I don't believe there's a time limit on the F1. If they put a time limit on this with 14 cars to restore, they're gonna piss off a lot of players. Just from what I can tell, this is an entire separate mini game that is intended to be here for some time. I think you're gonna have quite a long time put into finish this as well as getting the events done. So it's almost like Tempest. It's there. If you want to do it, you do it. You don't want to do it, just let it sit. Rocket Bunny on your GTI can beat Dino easily. Well, it is a tier 2 car, and you know that almost every tier 2 car beats Dino easily. So the question is, how much does it beat by? If it doesn't beat it by more than 2/10, it's basically on par with other tier 2 cars because almost every one of them beats Dino by at least a tenth or two. Until you get to closer to max, maybe, at that point, it's a matter of who has the faster car. Hey, Kamikaze, how are you? And you're welcome. I love sharing the info. Whenever I get info, I try to put it out there for everybody. That's kind of what makes it fun for me to play this game is to learn the stuff and share it to people that are interested. Okay, so we're on 20. I'm expecting some new information from the storyline. They pop in like every 5, 6 races. They tell you something new. So let's see if we get some new info here. All right. So far, it's been all very easy races. Look at the gap here. So that means this restoration rush, at least for the GTO, is not meant to be difficult. This is very easy so far. And, all I did is basically upgrade to stage 5 and then put some fusions in. I'm done. So this is good. Um, I don't know, Dwayne. There's nothing mentioned about stars. Of course, Natural Motion can always update something and change something. Um, they can add the stars as part of the final update. I kind of doubt it though. It if they don't add it here now already, it's probably intended that these legend cars don't have stars. And here, let me show you this again. I showed this earlier, but there's actually a new thing called legendary bonus. So these legendary cars may very well put out as much RP as a rare car, or if not more. I don't know what that bonus is going to be yet until I fully restore the car. So that could be why these cars do not come with stars. It doesn't ultimately affect using them. So, you know, it really comes down to how these play out. Mills is a great YouTuber, and so is Jay with CSR2. Mills actually get a lot of insider info from Natural Motion directly, which is great because he can give info that the rest of us regular players just don't have access to. But yeah, definitely, I'm a subscriber to Mill and also to Jay. And I talk to Mill now and though he's a great guy. So definitely one of the most down to earth guys I've talked to when it comes to this game. Yes, I'm running the update group. I'm actually running it with the what it is I got uh, two APKs from someone, and then what I do is I installed it on here, and it gave me access to the new content. Thanks, Holy Trinity. Thanks, I appreciate that. So which one would I be if I was the whole part of the Holy Trinity? Am I Porsche, Ferrari, or McLaren? All right, so let's see. We're moving along here. It does give you a few fusions, but again, looking at some of the cars in the list, fusions are going to be key again as far as progression is concerned. Ferrari, Porsche. My personal favorite out of the cars in the game, simply from a tuning standpoint and also ease of fusions, uh, definitely goes to Ferrari. Not that I don't love McLaren cars or the Porsche 918, but Ferraris in this game, almost every single one of them can be tuned to beat Dyno. They're all good cars. Well, not all, but mostly good cars. There are one or two real sad ones that shouldn't even be the way they are. But generally speaking, Ferraris are all pretty good. Um, yeah, I've heard of extreme gaming actually. There are a few guys I watch also for the world record shifting patterns. The guys from what's it? I forgot the crew, but they have their own Legend of Dreamville, I think, has their own video sets for a lot of the shift patterns, and that I like. So, Team Ferrari. Three. You can have Dwayne. You can have three. You saw earlier that there's three slots available. Um, so we can have three cars being restored in the Legend store at the same time. Adreno's James Chow, right? He's James Chow on Facebook. I know he holds a lot of the records. Some of these guys, they probably have good Apple devices because some of their shift pattern videos online. I can't even duplicate it on an Android device. It just won't do it. So, well, the California and the 599 are not that great. The worst of the Ferrari is actually the paid one, the Tier 4 California, the paid one. I call it the lipstick Ferrari because it looks like it's wearing lipstick. That's probably the worst Ferrari in the game. Um, I can almost tolerate every other Ferrari in the game. I can tune every other Ferrari in the game to basically beat Dyno and, you know, still win something. But that car I really despise. F40 or F50, from a usage standpoint, F40 is better. F50 looks better to me, but the F40 is easier to tune to be more successful in live racing than the F50. The super fast 812, a lobby killer, great car. 488, the 488 is kind of, everybody kind of looks down the 488. It is slow, it is not that impressive, and it's only a 3-star, but you know, all of us own the 488 in this game first, probably before the other Ferraris, because that's one of the most common drops. Okay, let me take a look here. So we're only at 37%. Okay, so let me start restoring some other parts. The thing is, the good news is you could start multiple restoration parts without finishing the other one. So notice the times are still running, but I'm able to start doing new pieces. However, I don't see other stuff now available for me to click on. So that could be the problem. So once these two are fully restored, I'm sure something else will pop up that'll let me keep restoring. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go back out and move forward on the races. We're on race 23. You remade the lipstick Ferrari in Forza Horizon 3. I'm playing Forza Horizon 4 and I'm loving it. You're tempting me to duplicate some deliveries from CSR2 in that game. It would be fun to do, but it's very time consuming. So I'm not sure I'm going to do that. So the opponents will slowly get a little faster like any event, but really the gap is huge still, so I'm not too concerned. Um, you could even, oh, you're talking about the seventh World Gaming. Yeah, I stripped that color one. Got myself a pink one. Although I already built a gray one, so I'm stuck using the gray one, but I do have a pink, Warrior Pink NSX in my garage. I think those liveries from Forza Horizon 3 actually transfers over to Horizon 4. You can import them, so that'd be something to look into. Hey, gamer, I see you. All right, let's see. Speaking of Forza Horizon 4, I spent 3 hours last night making some crazy skill chain just to do a video on it. And it's a waste of time, but it was fun to do just to do it. Seven World Gaming annoyed me so bad. Well, look, everybody's got their own style, and some people you like watching, and some people you just don't get used to. I never actually watched Seven World Gaming, so I'm not really sure what their style is. I only know of them because of that color on the NSX. That's the only reason I learned of them. I bet it's a great opening. Oh my God. Jerry's gonna pop in now, huh? He's gonna look into car restoration. That can't that can't be good. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got to know certain YouTubers for CSR2 when I was researching info on my own, and Seventh World Gaming just never came up when I started playing this game, so never actually watched any of their videos. Um, Jalen, I don't think there's a flash event. I think this one is meant to be free to play. Not necessarily free to progress if you're in a rush, but free to play event. There'll be plenty of flash cars coming. So your 20 bucks saved today probably will be spent in a season or two when they introduce the latest and hottest new car as a flash event car. The budget for any flash event to me is $200. If you don't have $200, don't even bother to start a flash event. You're not going to get very far and you just end up frustrated. Unless you're someone who collects cars just to collect them and you don't want to build them, then flash events are fine to spend the 20 bucks on. But it's really not a $20 event. It was never intended to be. This Javelin is going to be an easy $400 to max, $500 to max kind of car. Yes, David, someone did mention about the buffing of the Varen. That's probably a confirmed thing since other people on Facebook did confirm it. I don't have the Varen on this account, so I can't tell you the answer to that. I will search in my main account to see if I have a variant. I believe I do, but it was never built. So I'll build it and transfer some fusions, and then I may do a follow up on that to confirm it. But if someone's showing screenshots based on the 2.0 update, I'm pretty much gonna take their word for it that the variant is updated and buffed. They buffed the other Bugattis. I just can't see them leaving the variant as slow as it is. They don't need to buff the Charon. The Charon's already been buffed. Am I going to do a video for the Rally Fighter? James, I don't have access to a maxed Rally Fighter. I have my Rally Fighter, which have no fusions in it. What I can tell you is the Rally Fighter basically beats Dino if you just put it to 2.0 final drive and hit the nitrous, somewhere in second gear, because it only takes 2 gears to get through quarter mile. And I got through the supply cup pretty easily with it. You could down tune it to negative 999 evo, at which point I was running 11s against a computer car running 14s. So supply cup was obviously no stress. As far as stage 6 effects and fusion effects on the Rally Fighter, I don't know yet. I'm gonna actually burn a bunch of bronze keys when next Friday comes around and maybe do a video at that point, but I can't do anything at the moment. It does beat Dino, but it's not obviously without putting fusions into it. We're all speculating what the Rally Fighter is really going to be good for. Um, yep, that's what I found as well. So there you go. If you put it to Final Drive 2, shift into second and hit NOS at 75, it beats Dino. So there it is. Now most tier 3 cars beat Dino, so that doesn't really surprise me. But that's a good thing since we're doing supply cup and we want to make sure it beats Dino for that purpose. All right, so we're getting pretty close to the end here. I'm trying to figure out if they're going to give me some more as part of this uh, piece right here, or this is all the information we're getting for now. And let's obviously I'm not going to be able to fully restore that car as part of this live stream, so I'll have to follow up after with a video or something once the car is fully restored, or maybe I'll do another live stream at that point. George, the update is not out fully for Android. It is out for some people, and there are APK packs online that you can access, which you'll, if you want to take the risk, it can allow you to update to 2.0. Because some of these APKs are nothing more than, viruses. So you have to be careful which ones you get. Mine came from a trusted source. That's the only reason I decided to install it and try it out. I worked on the Letty as well. So, well, I think the new, I mean, this Rally Fighter is pretty much a reskin and minor adjustment to Letty's car, right? It's pretty obvious. Just like the Demon, it's probably a reskin of the Fast and Furious one with a little bit of adjustment to the programming. So, yeah, I think so as well. If you have one account and you don't want to risk it, don't mess with APKs. It's not something I normally trust either. Like I said, someone I chat with normally who I do trust provided his version, his link to the APK. That's the only reason I installed it. Yeah, well, we all know how people get maxed stuff early, right? So if I have one, if I do have access to an account that does have some cars that are maxed out, but not the Letty's Rally Fighter at the moment. Since it's not my account, I don't presume to tell the owner what to do. If he happens to have the car in there and he's already nice enough to let me use the account to make videos, I'm certainly not going to impose on him more. I didn't see a Max Letty in there, so I didn't have access to it. That's why I don't have a Stage 6 effect video yet. If that changes, I'll put the video up pretty quickly. One thing I'm going to tell you up front, though, based on what little I see of the Letty so far, do not use it for Tempest. That car has miserable 0 to 100 and 0 to 60. And if you're going to use it for Tempest, the primary thing you want is 0 to 60. So don't use Letty's car for that. Even if you have it built up, it's not a good Tempest car. This is just side piece of information. Because right now I'm getting some crazy slow 0 to 60. It picks up speed in the end, but that's no good for anything that, requires a quick acceleration. Still, the best Tempest Tier 3 car would be something simple like the Mustang GT, which will get you all the way through Tempest 3 maxed. Uh, the BMW M4, the LB BMW M4 is better, but Amelia's LB, very good car. I elite mine back in the day when it was the top T3 car in live. I spent 1 or 2 seasons with it in live, racing other people heads up, no trick tuning, nothing, just racing it because it was top of the tier and it couldn't get bumped. It was fun, and then the Porsche came along, and now it's no longer the best to use. But I elited it back then, so mine's the elite, so I couldn't use it for Tempest 3. Race 29. Again, all these races are pretty easy. I'm stage 5 full fusion, but none of these have even come close to being a challenge. So again, the restoration rush is to kind of get you started on the process, give you some story behind the whole legend thing. It's not meant to be a challenge. That'll change based on my understanding from other people who are further ahead of me. The later events are going to be tougher. Now, if you're unable to purchase stuff, that sounds to me like a Google situation, not necessarily something with the game. You may have to talk to Google, or whichever device Play Store you're with and find out why it's not allowing access to the game. You might have accidentally put a restriction on this game too, so you have to take a look at your settings. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that as far as why you are not able to make purchases. But that would be where I would start. Talk to Google Play, figure out if something's wrong there. Start restoring the interior first. Okay, I've already done it the other way, so I'm a little late to do that now. But um, M2 competition does work. ACS2 also works. Both BMWs are pretty good overall for use in Tempest. So, and the M2 comp is quick. That's a quick car. If Tempest 4 comes out, I think after they release this, Tempest 4 is not going to come out for a while. Between this, Flash events, that should give them easily in their. I would think if I was Natural Motion, I would think, all right, I released this Legend thing. That'll keep the players busy. So we have maybe a 6 month window to do Tempest 4 at this point, right? Because they made Tempest 3 tier 4 hard just to delay people, and it has worked. A lot of people are stuck there. And I'm sure the same idea with this one is to kind of give a filler, keep the interest going until Tempest 4 can be done. We know from like a past glitch that they've already have the symbols for Tempest 4, 5, and 6 or whatever, so I'm sure it's coming, but they're not going to make it too quick. So, well, at least if they do it quick, it's going to be full of bugs. I don't know if you want that. Win this race and your whole world will change. You ready for the next chapter? Ooh, next chapter. Okay. We'll do a sneak peek in the next chapter at least. Find out what that's about. But again, my GTO is not fully restored, so I think I'm going to be stuck waiting a bit after this regardless. Oh, Tempest costing gold? Yeah, that for a lot of people. Hey, Jesse, how are you? Hey, thanks, man. Okay, so here we go. Race 30. And we're way ahead. I'm not even going to shift into fourth. Yeah, easy win. Tempest 3 Tier 2, the best car to use. Well, I shouldn't say the best car to use. There are a bunch of cars that'll meet Tempest 3 Tier 2 requirements, but, um, you know, it the issue is that it has to be built to a certain point, and if it's not, it's not. So it doesn't matter. The Boxster is obviously the best, but the Boxster would need nitrous tire at least, if not, it would be nitrous tire turbo would be the minimum you would need just to have a chance to finish it with the Boxster, because you don't need engine. You leave that stock. You don't need stage 6 trans. Oh, you need body. That's the other one. So you're gonna need nitrous body, tire, and turbo. Intake is maybe you could do without it, but you can't do the final parts without that nitrous. Nitrous is really important to that Boxster. So that's one of the easier cars to do because you could leave engine stock and leave transit stage 5. I know that other tier 2 cars can do it. Alpha 4C can do it. The Honda Civic did it, but it was close to fully maxed to do it too. So there are quite a few cars in tier 2 that can do it, but you have to find a car that you actually have parts for. A lot of times people asking me, I want to finish it with this car, can I do it? My first question to them is how many fusions and how many stage 6? Because if you don't have stage 6s, you can't do it. It's that simple. And Tempest 3 is hard enough that you really need to have a bunch of parts. Okay, let me check that later. So let's see. Next challenge. See, relay racing. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So they're going to make you do relays with these restoration cars. So which restoration car you pick is going to be important because you need to meet the relay challenge times and win them, which requires a car that's built, which requires fusions. So let's say you get the AC Cobra and you got 0 fusions for it. What are you going to do? You can't do anything. You don't have fusions. That's where people are going to get stuck. So yeah, tier 4 LBNSX is a good car for tier 4. Definitely. Oh, you have two Boxster and never got a nitrous. Man, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I have gotten so many Boxsters over the time of polling for PC cars that I was able to max out the Boxster. But yeah, luck being what it is, sometimes when you see the 1 star, all you get is that Hyundai Veloster. I hate that thing, but you get that a lot too. Okay, so this is we finished the restoration rush. Let's take a look what the next challenge is. Okay, the trial's still here, but notice how now it's random. Ah, I shouldn't have finished it then. I could have. Oh well, what's done's done. So if you don't finish the GTO challenge first, this will stay on the GTO. You get GTO coins daily until you finish the restoration. Now it becomes a random one per day, and it may not be the car that I need. So so I kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit there by rushing through the 30 races. But let's take a look at this one, see what this new test says. Okay, so the relay race is about to go down. Show them why they need these cars and components. Hmm. But I don't have these. I only have one. What am I gonna do? Oh, you gotta lock in your cars. Yeah, no thanks. That's a. I'm gonna have to wait on this. So this is a point where I am going to be stuck for a little bit until I finish the GTO. Let me see if the dealership lets me start to buy any of the other cars yet. I don't think so. I think she said in the beginning you cannot buy any of the other restoration cars until you fully restore the first one. So the GTO has to be fully restored before I can even start to buy the other ones. But let's take a look. All right. So here you have all these other options. Notice you could buy these cars for regular money. Okay. That's the good news. But I can't buy it yet because why are you bugging me? You need to prove yourself at least one restore car before coming for more. So that means I can't do the relay because I don't have two cars. I can't finish anything until I restore this GTO 100%. And as you saw earlier, that GTO is not even close to 100%. I think I'm at like 37%. So this is this is going to take some time. It's definitely not going to be quick. All right, this one, I think this is now fully restored. Yep. Let's put that balance up 50%. That may open up a new item for me. Oh, red. Oh, it looks a lot better. Oh, here we go. More body restoration. 2,600 points for this. 9 minutes on the other one. Well, might as well start this. Now notice this only gets you to about what, 70%? You still got all this to go. And I can almost guarantee you 3350 isn't going to be enough to finish that. That's probably going to cost me another 6,000 points. So that's where it's going to get you. Spend gold or wait. So, hey, Alpha Gamer, how are you? Well, we're almost kind of at the end of the stream here because I'm kind of stuck at this point with this Legends progression. I think I should not have finished the 30 races. It would have allowed me to at least guarantee the right type of coins to finish the restoration as GTO. So on my other account, when I get to this point, what I'm going to do is do 29 races, finish the restoration, and then finish the 30th race and get to this point. Because otherwise, you're kind of now wasting time um, doing stuff that may not give you the coins you need, and that would be a bummer. So let's see. Ooh, this guy's pulling away from me. That's not good. Wow, this is not easy. Uh-oh. Hmm. Wow, it's going to be a little tougher to earn these coins. Well, I'll have to figure out how to drive better. Hey, Jalen, I'll probably start doing streaming more regularly on weekends, simply because I can't do it during the week. By the time I can get onto the computer, most people are sleeping. So I think a Sunday or Saturday stream is the most likely. And I will do more streaming because, quite frankly, it's easier than recording a video and producing it and then uploading it. It's actually slower to do that than just going through a stream. Plus, you guys can ask questions directly and I can answer them directly. I personally find that to be easier on me rather than typing answers to everybody's questions after the fact. Um, you don't have the features, Benny, because not everybody's got the update yet. This is only a very small number of people who are basically test subjects for this update have gotten it randomly in Android. And I got it through an APK pack that someone recommended to me. So not everybody has it, but we should all get it soon. This is just a way to kind of give everybody a chance to look at what it looks like, uh, where it may go, and you know how long or hard this might be. Again, few key points. Let's just summarize what we've learned so far. Uh, you're going to need 14 fully restored cars, mind you, fully restored to get the F1. Okay, so you have to restore all of these to get the McLaren F1. So you get it when you restore 14 cars. You're going to be doing a lot of relay races as part of the events. So that's going to be something interesting. Picking the right cars are going to be important so you don't end up stuck with these. These all give you different, notice these coins are specific to the car too. So things are going to get a lot tougher later because you're not going to have the flexibility to get whatever coin you want or all for that particular brand that you're working on. This also becomes random. So even if you finish 15 races a day for the Legend trials, you get the coins for a particular car. It's a random car. Hey Alpha, how are you? So those are the things you need to be aware of. There's also this here. Notice Izzy's challenge coming in 2 days. Now, what Ford? I don't have a Ford. Oh, the Boss 302. So this is a limited time event, it looks like. So they're going to try to get you to pick particular cars to use for this kind of event. Although looking at these rewards, I may very well just skip it because nothing here really even impressed me enough to want to get into this. Well, I guess 30 silver keys isn't bad, but so that's coming in 2 days. That's assuming I could finish the GTO in 2 days and then I can buy the Ford, which means they're trying to dig into this. All this is tempting you to spend gold, to use gold to make things quicker. That's your call. I am somebody who's not willing to burn up my resources for no reason. So I will save my gold and just slowly do it. But if you're in a rush, expect to be very broke very quick because this whole thing is a separate mini game in a sense. And you still have to do all your regular stuff like supply cup and all that. Speaking of supply cup, let me just show you guys one last thing before I jump off here. Go back to my main garage. And this is relating to the PC car. That's very slow. I don't know if this is because of my using a emulator or whether this is the new norm. I hope it's not because it normally loads faster than that in the past. Okay, let me find my car. I have it here somewhere. I thought I moved it up already. Hold on. Let's see. How you like my garage organization? It's very logical, right? Just throw them wherever they fit. I can always find my car, but if you are surfing through my garage and you have OCD, you're not going to be a happy camper. All right, so here's Letty's car. So this car at stage 5, okay, I tuned this a little differently because I was testing 0 to 60 to see what some of the best 0 to 60 I can get without Fusion is. I mean, maybe with Fusions, this 0 to 60 will be more impressive, but that is pretty sad overall. So again, this is not a good Tempest 3 car. To use it for driving around, you can do one of two things before you put Fusions in. The best Evo point will be somewhere around this. without fusions. 74, 75. And that'll give you a 10.5 in my case with no fusion stage 5. But if you want to just have easy time with the supply cup, you just do that. Because now you're supposed to do 13.4. I can tell you right now, I can still do 10.6. It changes nothing. It's just that it's kind of fooling the computer into giving me tier 1 opponents for supply cup. I do this because, quite frankly, I don't want to spend 40 pips of gas on the last two supply cup races trying to beat it. Some people have had that struggle. This trick almost always allow me to avoid that struggle. So it doesn't work with every card, works with Letty's card, and I'm just trying to get some fusions here, and I don't want to spend 3 hours a day playing the game, so I try to get through everything in one shot, and that's how you do it. Whoop, just hit that lower layer. I forgot. I shouldn't have launched it perfect. I should have launched it a little bit slightly late. It would have given me a much better run. This is still 11-1 run on a 13.6 dyno. So the computer opponent is going to run somewhere in the 13s right there, and you run 11-1. So there's no chance you lose. That's basically just a little trick just to kind of get you through. This also works with other trials and cups. I do it all the time for those daily trials, daily cups, just so I don't waste gas. Because I only have so much patience watching videos, and I don't want to waste all my gold trying to do the same race over and over again. But that's just a simple tuning trick with the Letty's card. It does work. It naturally beats Dino anyway, so even if you don't do this and you tune it to normal point, it'll still beat the supply cup, even in the final races. So if you tune it to where it has the best evo, approximately. Let's see, where is that? So 47. Okay, your dyno is going to be at like a 10.4 something, 10.549. And you can still get that just by what was posted earlier in the chat. You can launch perfect, shift to second, and then hit nitrous around 75 miles an hour. You will beat dyno and, again, beat the opponent. Of course, the opponent's time is going to be now based off of this dyno, so they're going to be a lot closer than the other way where you basically can't lose. So this one just, it's up to you. People have used stock cars for these trials as well with pretty good success. Oh, now I launched too late. Well, that's okay. This one actually worked out okay. So it spins its tires all the way, and it's just gonna do what it's gonna do. Didn't beat Dino really by much, but it did beat it by a little bit. That wasn't the best drive either. So right there, that's naturally a Dino beater. Right now in race number 3, it's pretty easy. By race 24, the computer will be running somewhere in the high 10.5, low 10.6 range, so it'll be a lot closer at that point. But it shouldn't be difficult to get through the cup. You definitely want to do the supply cup, get the points, get those fusions since we don't have any. Every fusion counts. And we're going to have, what, 3 of these? So, that's not too bad. 12 fusions out of the 90 something you need. It's something. Hopefully I'll get stage 6s that'll be beneficial too. The other thing is always save up keys. So restoration, okay, I'll deal with that later. Other thing is always save bronze keys now. I don't do random pulls anymore. What I do is I do live racing, I save the keys. I do the same thing with silver. I sort of do this with gold as well. Notice I did try in the past to pull the gold event cars, and I haven't had much luck. The FXK I missed altogether on this account. I did, I think, get the Agara RS though. I'm pretty sure I got that. So if you miss it, you miss it. But even if you get the car, doesn't mean you have to do the event. I pulled a Chiron in the Gold Cup event. Let me see if I have that car here. And I didn't build it at all. I just kind of left it there. Didn't do the event, but at least I got the car, and that's possible future build down the line. So don't get too hung up on, oh, I got it as a milestone, so I didn't have to pull for it. Don't get too hung up on the idea of finishing events because you probably won't be ready unless you've been playing a long time or you're lucky or you've been spending money. Those are the 3 ways to get through some of these events because most of the new events are not designed for new startup players. They're actually designed for players that's been around a while to give us a new challenge. So don't get too hung up on finishing. If you're a completionist, you're going to be probably spending a ton of money on this game. Hey, thanks guys for joining me in this live stream. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. If you got other questions you think of afterwards, just post it. And as you know, I'm pretty good at getting back to everybody. So thanks again for watching, and have a good one.